Hey everybody. I have taken some advice of wiser people than myself and actually took the holidays off. Um, and I was racking my brain thinking about something that I could do relatively quickly, and I got two saws that are out of commission right now that I gotta do, either change out a blade, which is more complex than it should be, or like I said, the other one was broken. I did remember I was talking about the Star Wars figures that I picked up in Mustafar and all that. I have a campaign I want to do based on all the different Star Wars armies, and I have like I said, a bunch of them. I've got, Stormtrooper army, a Clone Trooper army, the Droid army, Rebel army, and a Hutt army, and I'm probably forgetting some others. I got some other like auxiliary forces that could support things like the Geonosians, and some other things. But I wanted to give you guys kind of an insight into the background of the campaign. So, I didn't want to stray too far from the original storyline, and so I think I found a way of very, very, very minimalizing or minimally changing the storylines. The campaign that all the battles are going to be done in is in between the two sets of three movies, and that would be the old three that were essentially the last three movies, and the first three, which were the last three to come out. God, you'd swear that I did that. That's typical Bill fashion, huh? But anyways, it takes place in between the Clone Wars and when the Rebels really became a powerful, viable force to be reckoned with. That, of course, eventually overcame the Empire. And so I wrote in a little bit of a betrayal that explains everything. As you all know, Count Dooku was the Sith that was underneath the Emperor, and my concept was that Count Dooku, being a Sith or whatever, Dark Jedi, they always have like their own little side plans going on. And so what happened was he told the Geonosians there was like an order that the Emperor could shut down all the droids. Well, he overrode that little program so that it wouldn't work. So if he died, the droids would not shut down when the Emperor said shut down, and they would continue to fight, which would totally screw up the Emperor's plans. Which is, good if he got killed, which obviously he did. So he talked to the Geonosian commander and said, all the droids that you have, if I'm killed, they just become yours. And so the Geonosians have a very potent droid force, and the second droid army that was run by Grievous was still a sizable force, even after Grievous was killed. And Grievous has another person underneath him who could take over the droid forces, because obviously when the Emperor said shut it down, they didn't all shut down, so you've got these two huge armies. And there's a third a third place, and I didn't even know this till I checked this out. Well, Mustafar, the reason they were mining all that lava is there's iron in the core, and they were mining out the iron to make more droids for the war if the war needed to continue. So there's a factory on Mustafar that's pumping out more droids. It's about 15 years after the last movie, which is the third movie. So the Clone Warriors are no longer the crack troops that they once were, because they had accelerated their growth to get them on the battlefield, and their growth has continued to happen. They've slowed it down some, but it's 15 years later, and they're just not the crack force that they once were. They control the core worlds, which Coruscant is the center of the core worlds. The Stormtrooper, and they work for the Emperor, and the Emperor gave all the regional governors power to control their areas, and they were the Stormtroopers have always been the peacekeepers on the outer rims, and so they became the military forces under the regional governors, and the regional governors are not going to pledge allegiance to the Emperor until he can destroy the rebel forces. If he's not strong enough to do that, they're more than happy to continue to tax the people and take the money for themselves. And because the Emperor has got to keep control of his area, and his troops are no longer top of the line, he can't afford to go out and get into all these fights with everybody. So they're kind of null and void, each is doing their own thing. The Hutts, seeing that these guys have essentially canceled each other, and that they can't afford to split forces up, the Hutts have openly waged war and gotten territories for themselves. So the Hutts are now a fighting force to be reckoned with. The rebels are not organized yet, but they're the best guerrilla force ever because they are the remnants of the Republic, which is everywhere. So they are a force, but not... they're very wide scattered. The reason that they were eventually able to win is they were able to actually get all their resources to come together and bring it to bear against the Empire in an effective manner. The most interesting situation in the campaign is the Jedi. The Jedi have split into 3 separate groups. Obviously, if Kenobi was able to survive and Yoda was able to survive, there were a number of other Jedi who were able to escape their assassinations. And there was a lot of... because the Jedi were all over the galaxy. They're like the rebels. They're like everywhere. And so there's still quite a few of them left. So the 3 different schools of thought between the Jedi are this. You've got the ones that are supporting the Republic that are trying to bring it back. And they're very widespread, but they are a force to be reckoned with. You've got the neutral Jedi, which basically saw the government's basically tried to slaughter them, so that makes their service to the Republic null and void. So they are now out for what is good for them, because they don't see themselves as... they see themselves as being betrayed, and the price of betrayal is their freedom to do as they choose. The last group of Jedi are... they have wanted to, quote-unquote, complete their training, and realize there's a whole other side to their training, which is dark side training, and this wouldn't have happened if they would have had that type of training. And some of them have a chip on their shoulder. Not all Jedi get along as smoothly as the upper crust does. And so a number of them have decided to go out and continue their training, and some of them have seen the Emperor as winning, and they want to be on the winning side since he banished the Republic and are directly working underneath him. So that is the state of the campaign. So literally everybody's at war and anybody can fight anybody for any reason. And that is the whole concept behind the campaign. So that's what it's all about. And hopefully I will get off my lazy Thanksgiving butt and get some more stuff going for you guys. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye.